Hello. अभी क्या करना है? That was used to kill the Kalman together. But you are a
Mr. Hamish, can you explain to us what happened to the colonial collection? It seems somewhat depleted.
But, most likely maintenance work, tidying up.
You're not sure, then? But you're the deputy director.
Well, I am busy. I cannot be everywhere at once.
एवढी पटेल
Albert told us about the tragic death of Mr. Dunn, the late director of Kew Gardens.
Tragic indeed. His heart attack was quite unexpected.
As deputy director, how was your relationship with Montague Dunn?
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better. You see, every Tuesday he would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression. Great pretense that he cared at all. He would give out absurd orders, ignoring anyone else's opinion. He would then disappear for the rest of the week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous and chaotic. So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
You mentioned that Mr. Dunn led a particular lifestyle.
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed, celebrating, shall we say. He was a member of the London Smart Set. He was famous for it. That
And?
He had an eye for the ladies, to put it mildly, Mr. Holmes.
Tell me, Mr. Hamish, do you grow the more deadly variety of plant here?
You mean insectivorous? Yes, but nothing larger than that.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. Locked. Director's office, cloakroom, and laboratory. Reserve. Nursery. Seed house. Ventilation system. Dry tropics. Water lily greenhouse. Colonial Collection. Palm House. A map of Kew Gardens.
Nice.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
हाँ कौन था? कौन है रे? हाँ,
Who is Miss Margaret White?
Ah, she is the young lady who studies with me. She visits here sometimes to help out with the greenhouses. In fact, she should be here today. She wanted to work at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse across from the large glass house.
Do you work here?
Yes, but part-time only, for I'm also studying botany at the University of London.
You're following in your father's footsteps, then. That is commendable.
Well, even if botany is not my strongest suit, there are people who say that I could be a good manager.
I imagine that your relationship with your father may have been a strained one.
Yes. I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never listened to me at all. He forced me to work here. But now, after his death, I've been pondering it over. Perhaps he wasn't so wrong about me after all. I have to follow his path, and I have to manage Kew Gardens, and I can do it. I can be as good as any other who works here.
We noticed that a part of the colonial collection has been cleared.
Ah. At the moment, I'm just dealing with the storage room. I don't know much about the other rooms.
Would you please tell us about Martin Hamish, the Deputy Director?
Well, I have to tell you that Mr. Hamish is not and has never been the Deputy Director of Kew Gardens. My father would not have tolerated it.
Indeed? That is most interesting. He told us that he was.
Yes, because he believes that the management should be passed down to him now that my father is dead. But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has the honour of being the garden's longest-serving employee. In fact, if we are to think logically at all, it should be me who takes over the management of Kew Gardens.
Do you not have a good relationship with Mr. Hamish?
I suppose so. But we have very little in
ए
common.
मम्मी
Mr. Hamish
ए
loves
मांजर
his
आलं बघ
plants and Kew Gardens, and I cannot say that I share his passion.
I see. And
मारू
how was
नको,
his
मारू नको, मारू
relationship
नको.
with your father?
Oh, he hated my father. It was obvious. He would be furious whenever my father boasted of Kew Gardens in the newspapers or at conferences. He was convinced that my father was stealing all of the credit for himself. But my father treated Mr. Hamish in the same way as he treated anyone. Dismissively. With indifference.
Do you hold the keys to all of these locked doors?
Yes, you can have them. But I cannot give you the keys to the cloakroom. The employees' effects are private. I am sure you understand.
हम्म
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon. Palm House.
अरे सरक भारी वाटतं बे Okay, I've been here already.
These flower pots are beautiful. They are intended to be used for exhibition purposes. The symbol is not from Kew Gardens. Dry tropics.
क्या करे वाटसन?
There is a smell of burning.
The fuck is happening?
The symbol is not from Kew Gardens.
अभी लोग करते हैं.
A protective mask. Someone set it alight, but it did not burn. The remains of a picture frame. A door handle? Why would anyone throw such a thing in the fire? The door handle to the colonial collection and that of the fireplace are made of the same material. A broom handle was half burned. The plants were set alight fairly recently. Some have not completely burned.
वो भाई मैं बाय गेली.
Look, Holmes, this charming lady must be Miss White. She's entering the seed house.
काम पे लेते सर. एक भाई गैस मास्क लगाया तो.
A ventilation system. It should regulate the temperature of the staff buildings. A water tank. Open. These leather gloves are new and of good quality. They do not appear to have been used. A book about ships. Nothing at all to do with plants. Materials for college study. They belong to Albert. This place serves as Albert's office. From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room.
day to you, miss. You have some very beautiful plants here.
Why, thank you, sir. And good day to you too. But...
Oh, I do beg your pardon. My name is Dr. John Watson. This is my good friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
I am honored to make your acquaintance, gentlemen. My name is Margaret White. Excuse me, but are you Sherlock Holmes, the great detective?
Yes, I am he.
What a pleasure to see you here at Kew Gardens. Are you working on a case?
Wes dengan sementara. Berat ada ya. Kali akhirnya dulu. Jangan tekan. Terlalu kurang waktu.
Yes, a theft of plants that took place here a few days ago after their most recent exhibition.
Oh, yes, of course. I quite forgot about that.
Oh, it's quite understandable that you might forget about the theft of the plants, miss, after the tragedy that took place here.
Yes. The director was a truly good man. It is such a terrible misfortune.
Do you work here?
Part-time only. I am a biology student at the London University. I attend the same classes as the son of Mr. Montague Dunn. That is how I found my chance to work here for part of my thesis, you see. It is a great honor.
How well did you know Mr. Montague Dunn?
He was a master, a great leader. I saw him almost as a spiritual father.
He had an exceptional nature?
Oh yes, indeed. He was always so active and so optimistic, and very nice to me. Although he could behave harshly towards his son.
Why so?
He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for him. It made him extremely demanding. Albert, who is naturally shy, suffered because of it.
Most of the doors in Kew Gardens are locked. Do you have a key to this room?
Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys. He agreed I might carry out my studies without disturbing him. It is only temporary.
Would you happen to know why part of the colonial collection was cleared?
No, I have never been there.
Kita kok udah begitu baik.
Thank you, miss. None of the 3 people who work at Kew Gardens know why half of the colonial collection was cleared. So, someone is lying. It is obvious. Nursery. The seeds of plant species are stored here. I am curious if the marble that we found will fit the... Here it is. The marble fragment that we found in the colonial collection room is what they have in common. It is a bust of Montague Dunn.
You done.
An award presented to Martin Hamish for Best Grower of the Year. A master's degree diploma. It belongs to Martin Hamish. A glasses case. It is empty. A thesis, written by Martin Hamish. This area serves as Martin Hamish's office. We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window. This poster is for an exhibition that Martin Hamish was directing, but it had nothing to do with Kew Gardens. This certificate belongs to Martin Hamish. He won a horticultural competition.
Seems he was worthy enough.
These young plants must be delicate if they are kept in the nursery. There was a bottle here. It left behind a trace of the substance that pervaded the laboratory.
Gold dust? Good heavens. What's it doing here?
The gold is almost immune to chemical attacks, so it may be a valuable auxiliary for various experiments.
But why would anyone perform such experiments in a botanical garden?
Several drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around. Several drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around. The bottle is no longer here, but it is possible to detect a faint scent. We need a good nose.
So,
The employee's cloak. A botany book. This student's book belongs to Albert. Chemicals, a sufficient quantity for some serious experiments.
A phonograph used for voice recording. Remarkable.
Yes, this is quite a modern laboratory.
yeah, come on.
And it seems clear from these multiple experiments that plants to respond to their environment and have a form of consciousness. Margaret White, February 1895.
Study report.
Martin Hamish's perception of plants. The notion of communication in the plant world has long been considered marginal, yet I remain convinced that some plants do indeed transmit chemical signals in the event of attack.
A study report by Martin Hamish. This is a table for experiments. It resembles my own.
Only this one is kept in good order, Holmes.
It appears as though the protective equipment is missing from here. Gloves, waterproof aprons, everything one might need for self-protection.
Do they grow dangerous plants here?
It appears as though the protective equipment is missing.
Yeah, mask.
Such masks are generally worn when dealing with toxic chemicals. Locked.
Holmes, Albert Dunn didn't give us the key to this door.
It does not matter. We will open it.
Nice. तुला काय पाहिजे ते कर दादा. लाईक करायचं लाईक कर, डिसलाईक करायचं डिसलाईक कर.
Open.
चलो.
Miss White's locker. These jewels must be worth a small fortune. Apparent. A draft of the list. Evan. Martin Hamish's locker. A review on rare and exotic plants. Martin Hamish has written several pieces. Martin Hamish studied chemistry. Interesting.
बसलायस हा आयसीने काहीतरी
Father
मदत
and
करायची ते नाही
I,
त्याला
Kew Gardens. Albert's locker. A rejection letter from specialist articles on shipyards and ship construction. Albert Dunn has a great passion for shipbuilding and the sea. A picture of Miss White and Albert in front of the University of London.
And they seem to get along.
एक दिन 4 अरे यार ठीक है
I suggest that we don't tell Miss Margaret White about this document.
हाँ Now you don't have कुछ क्लोज नहीं है यार ये टाइम पे लिटरली कुछ भी क्लोज नहीं है
A photograph of Montague Dunn and Reynold Hamish. Newspapers discussing Kew Gardens. Champagne. Montague Dunn had good taste. French wine, a remarkable vintage. What is your opinion of Albert as a student of botany?
He's useless. I often tell him so, and I can only give him cleaning tasks. Botany is not his life's work, and his father well knew it. He was furious about it.
He was?
Oh yes. He forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech. But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure. It was with the intention of making a fool of him, Mr. Holmes.
That must have been terribly humiliating.
Yes, he was crushed, and he had to leave. Everybody was making fun of poor Albert. That is, except for Miss Margaret White, who is such a nice lady and who always takes pity on Albert.
You mentioned a Miss White. Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who works here part-time. She is quite charming indeed. She possesses a great talent for botany. You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, if only she were not so naive.
Why naive?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And why, he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
Mr. Hamish, was someone from your family connected with Kew Gardens?
Family? No. I'm the only one with a passion for botany.
I do not think so. This photograph of you and your father at Kew Gardens suggests the opposite.
But you have no right to.
Do tell us more about your father.
He was, indeed, the greatest botanist of his time in the British Empire. He worked together with Montague Dunn until the end of his life. He brought me in at the age of 12.
Did he get on well with Mr. Dunn?
No, I couldn't say that. They expanded Kew Gardens together, that was all. And it was all my father's work, for Dunn always lived the high life.
So Mr. Dunn was not helping your father?
Oh, yes, he provided the financial support. And as far as he was concerned, that fulfilled his role. But the worst of it was, fame...
There is a bust of Montague Dunn in the nursery.
A bust? Oh, that old thing. Further proof of that outrageous ego of his.
But why in that room, in particular?
Oh, I don't know. It has always been there.
It is strange, because I recovered a fragment of the bust inside the Colonial Collection Room.
Really? Oh, well, so I am mistaken. It ought to have been removed during the cleanup. This room is so small.
Do you know who moved it?
I have no idea. Surely Mr. Dunn requested it. Do you have any more questions like this? Because fragments of rock are not my responsibility.
Evidently. Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. I perceive that you are passionate about the Royal Navy.
Passionate? No, not really. I like ships, that is all.
Are you quite sure? You do not seem to be so interested in plants.
It's difficult, that's all. My future is here. It has never been about anything else.
And yet I know that the Royal Naval College rejected your application.
Ah, you truly are as clever as they say. Yes, that's correct. And in fact, my father was strongly against the idea. He did his best to ruin my plans, although I almost did succeed. But my dreams were shattered, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, young man. We shall...
Take a home, okay.
Here it is. Here it is. The Divine Syndicate is not a supplier to Kew Gardens. Besides, there is no address here. Here it is.
Newspaper. 1888.
Here it is. And here is the Divine Syndicate's address. Perfect. It is time to find out what they have against Montague Dunn.
Toby.
Come on, Toby. We have some work for you to do. Let us go to Kew Gardens. Let us take Toby to the laboratory. He will pick up the scent of this mysterious substance. Search, Toby. Search. Congratulations, Toby. Now let us see what you have found. This is the bottle that was used in the laboratory. There is still some liquid remaining in the bottle, with gold flakes, a tiny caterpillar. Not surprising to see one in a garden, but at the bottom of a bottle.
Frame is not working. Is there an issue with it? No, इधर तो सब चल रहा है. इधर कुछ issue लग रहा है. नहीं हो जाएगी. Good connection. Same connection क्यों नहीं हुआ? Yes. Phone बंद है जो.
If I go there, Toby will wait for me in the cab.
This place is beautiful, Holmes. Its atmosphere
Demek कितना हो रहा है स्पीड स्पीड का कम मिलता है वाह
is remarkably soothing.
Let us find someone who could help us. Good day to you, sir. My name is
I am exalting the sun.
Unpleasant.
Can you wait? From the trace of elements and moreover from the quality of the ambient geotropism it depends. Therefore, please, mind my gravitropism. Its balance. Do not disturb.
Disturbed is most definitely the word.
There. Completed is the symbiosis. Welcomed you are. To introduce myself, I am the Green Grand Mystic.
The Green Grand Mystic himself.
This is me. Who am I speaking to?
We are two gentlemen who are extremely interested in the vegetation philosophy that is advocated by this establishment.
Listening to you, I am.
We should like to take a look around, to immerse ourselves in the wisdom that emanates from here.
It is a school of anastomosis, the divine scholastic syndicate for vegetation veneration and meditation. You may say, the divine syndicate, glory to the eukaryotic. Only true devotee and...
We visited Kew Gardens, and we found it.
Coincidence, I am thinking. They would scavenge our refuse.
It was merely... Green Grand Mystic.
What is the name of our Lord, our God King?
Our God King's name is Treewan, Green Grand Mystic.
Oh la, good.
Thank you so much.
What?
I pray you to taste our fertilizer substance. From the
Gainum.
burdens of life it helps to free. Raw.
Well, we will leave you to your meditation. A fragment of a flower pot. Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here. The Kew Gardens symbol.
अबे यार ये बजाने का था मेरे को.
The list of plant friends and benefactors, lawyers, well-known manufacturers, political leaders.
Osmosis and photosynthesis.
That should be the raw sap that the Green Grand Mist...
My word.
Praise the grand tree, praise it.
This door is locked, but I can try to open it.
This is something gone. Gone. Noko.
These instruments are used for smoking opium. A vast amount of opium. This cabinet is full of chemicals. They are the same as the one. That would be enough to perform the most difficult of chemical experiments.
ये बापरे आता तो फोन घ्या काय पाहिजे हा बरं चार्जिंगला लाव तुझा लावायचा चार्जिंगला
This cabinet is full of chemicals. They are the same as the ones we found. Caterpillars. They are a tropical plant. Nothing of interest. A tropical plant. Nothing of interest.
आणि पाण्याचा माणूस खूप काय त्याचा ओला राहिला पाहिजे तर त्या दोन बाटल्या घेतो ना दोन बाटल्या आणि काय लागतं आणि काम ते वेळ ते येताना ना
A tropical plant. Nothing of interest.
हे पाठ
A tropical plant. Nothing of interest. tropical plant, nothing of interest. A tropical plant, nothing of interest.
तो भाई केज बिल वाले का साला ढवला था ना. If it is nothing of interest.
These 3 plants are identical to the ones shown at the exhibition. I shall take them.
अभी और क्या ये डाला और पार्ट. ओके
त्यात पटेल साहेबाला ताप येत होता आणि तो कामावर आहे. त्याला ते साहेब लोकांनी त्याला हे केलं नाही आले एकदम उद्या.
ओके going हो बाकी अपन
Let us determine just what we have found here. Let us pour liquid from the bottle into a test tube to perform an analysis. This is the bottle that we found hidden at Kew Gardens. A colorless, quite a strong floral aroma.
Holmes? What are you doing?
It has a bitter taste.
What if it's poisonous?
Did you ever see poison stored in enormous jars like that? Anyway, there is a doctor nearby.
So what do you think it is?
It is some kind of organic compound. Let us vaporize the liquid and see what happens. Small colorless crystals. Colorless, tiny crystals that are soluble in water.
Of course. Here you are.
Wagner's reagent.
No, Holmes, I meant the bottle that we found.
Let me add the I need to take a pipette.
असं ऍड करायचंय.
Red set. This liquid. This mixture is probably a
ये आलू में ज़्यादा मजा है बड़ा. ओके बाकी अपन देखेंगे कल. यस